Imagine this. You're sitting at one of the most prestigious film festivals in the world, Venice. Cameras are flashing, journalists are lined up, and you're next to two Hollywood icons, Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield. Then, an interviewer asks a loaded question about the Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter, but here's the catch. He pointedly directs it to your white co-stars, completely leaving you, a black actress, out of the conversation. That's exactly what happened to Ayo Edebiri. And instead of lashing out or an uncomfortable moment into a powerful lesson in resilience and composure, that the clip immediately went viral. Stay tuned, because today on CelebSpill, we're breaking down exactly what happened at the 2025 Venice Film Festival, why this interview sparked outrage, and how Ayo turned an uncomfortable moment into a powerful lesson in resilience. And before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to CelebSpill for more untold Hollywood stories and behind the scenes. Truths. The Venice Film Festival is one of cinema's grandest stages, where stars from across the globe gather to celebrate artistry, storytelling, and culture. This year, all eyes were on the cast of After the Hunt, a dark psychological thriller starring Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, and rising star Ayo Edebiri. But what should have been a straightforward press interview turned into one of the most awkward and talked about moments of the festival. The journalist, an Italian reporter, leaned forward and asked a sweeping, somewhat clumsy question. In your opinion, what we lost during the politically correct era and what we have to expect in Hollywood after the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter are done. The two of you, Andrew and Julia. It was clear the question was directed to Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield. Ayo was sitting right there, completely excluded. The tension was immediate. Andrew Garfield visibly squirmed in his seat. Julia Roberts furrowed her brow, and Ayo sat quietly, confusion and disbelief written across her face. Julia even tried to give the reporter a chance to clarify, asking, "Can you repeat that?" And with your sunglasses on, I can't tell which of us you're talking to. But the journalist doubled down, confirming that the question was indeed only for Julia and Andrew. Think about that. A question about the Black Lives Matter movement specifically addressed to two white actors, while excluding their black co-star. Now here's where Ayo's grace came through. She could have stayed silent, she could have called out the reporter directly. Instead, she chose to interject in a way that was calm but firm, saying, "Well done. Sorry, I know that's not for me, and I don't know if it's purposeful if it's not me, but I just am curious. I don't think it's done. I agree with you. I don't think it's done at all." She went on to explain. Maybe hashtags might not be used as much, but I do think that there's work being done by activists, by people every day. That's beautiful, important work. That's what I would say. Her words weren't defensive, they weren't angry. They were clear, thoughtful, and powerful. It didn't take long for the clip to hit social media, and the reaction was swift. Viewers praised Ayo for her composure, with many calling her a masterclass in how to handle exclusion and microaggressions in real time. One user wrote, "Ayo Edebiri just gave the most graceful clapback I've ever seen. That's how you hold your ground without losing your cool." Another said, "It's 2025 and journalists are still doing this? Thank God for Ayo's poise." The backlash was so fierce that the comment section under the original interview had to be shut down. Of course, the journalist behind the camera eventually issued a statement. He condemned what he called attacks from the digital mob and denied any accusations of racism. In his words, the backlash had been blown out of proportion. But for many, that explanation didn't land, because regardless of intent, the impact was undeniable. A black actress was sidelined in a conversation that directly concerned her community. And perhaps the most striking part of this was Ayo's line, "I don't feel comfortable having this conversation with you anymore," to which she calmly reminded, "Not everything is supposed to make you comfortable." That statement alone hit millions like a thunderclap. What makes this story even more layered is the irony of the film they were promoting, After the Hunt. The movie itself explores themes of truth, silence, and accountability. Julia Roberts plays a professor whose protege, played by Ayo, accuses Andrew Garfield's character of sexual misconduct. It's a story about uncomfortable truths, power dynamics, and the consequences of looking the other way. In many ways, the awkward interview echoed the very themes of the film: who gets to speak, who gets to stay silent, and how institutions and individuals handle uncomfortable truths. During the press run, Ayo has been open about what it was like working with Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield. She admitted that she had a poster of Julia Roberts hanging in her childhood home saying, "There's a poster of her in my house and she knows that now, so it's fine. She is who she is for a reason." She cares so much, she also has the greatest laugh and smile of all people ever. Julia in turn praised Ayo's talent, calling her the exception to the rule when it comes to meeting your heroes. Andrew Garfield described her as sharp, empathetic, and the kind of co-star who makes everyone better just by being in the room. This mutual admiration made the awkwardness of the interview sting even more, because the respect between the actors was so clear. During the press run, Ayo has been open about what it was like working with Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield. She admitted that she had a poster of Julia Roberts hanging in her childhood home saying, "There's a poster of her in my house and she knows that now, so it's fine. She is who she is for a reason. She cares so much. She also has the greatest laugh and smile of all people ever." Julia, in turn, praised Ayo's talent, calling her the exception to the rule when it comes to meeting your heroes. Andrew Garfield described her as sharp, empathetic, and the kind of co-star who makes everyone better just by being in the room. This mutual admiration made the awkwardness of the interview sting even more, because the respect between the actors was so clear. At the end of the day, Ayo Edebiri didn't just make headlines for a viral clip. She reminded Hollywood, the media, and audiences around the world that exclusion, intentional or not, still exists, and it matters. Her response wasn't just about defending herself. It was about making sure that activism, equality, and progress aren't treated as trends that eventually end. Because as Ayo said, the work is not done. And as long as voices like hers keep reminding us, maybe one day we'll actually start listening. And that's the full story of Ayo Edebiri's viral Venice Film Festival moment. What do you think? Was the journalist's question an innocent misstep or something deeper? And how do you feel about the way Ayo handled it? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe to CelebSpill for more untold Hollywood stories, viral moments, and emotional behind-the-scenes truths. Until next time, stay tuned and stay inspired.